Chris Grier adds a pair of new players to the Dolphins roster, and they are important pieces. One safety, one wide receiver. We'll talk about Ashtyn Davis here in just a second. But Nic Westbrook-Ikhine was the wide receiver signed, the former Tennessee Titan, a 2-year, $6.5 million deal with $3.2 million guaranteed. This is a fascinating player that I am very excited to add to this Dolphins roster in a very cheap contract as well. Not that I expected Westbrook-Ikhine to break the bank, but only $3.2 million over 2 seasons, and that fully guaranteed made me very intrigued. And why is this a good move for the Miami Dolphins? We have talked at depth about the Dolphins addressing a wide receiver on this Dolphins roster, but we always thought it was going to come in the draft, right? Because the Dolphins needed that X wide receiver. They needed a physical, big guy on the outside. Well, the Dolphins didn't have that. Their wide receivers on the roster were Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Malik Washington, all guys under 6 feet in height and not really red zone threats. Well, Nic Westbrook-Ikhine will change that to a degree. You see his size on screen, 6'2", 211. Not the most physical guy, but he does have good size to him. Plus, he also has good burning speed on the outside. Is it Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Malik Washington speed? No, but he is someone that can get out on the perimeter. You see his numbers last year. 32 receptions, almost 500 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Westbrook-Ikhine is a good addition to this Dolphins roster. I am very excited to add him to this group. And now we don't really have to look towards the draft in terms of wide receiver, because in my eyes, the wide receiver room is probably already set now. Tyreek Hill is going nowhere. Jalen Waddle is going to be here. Malik Washington is here. Now you add Nic Westbrook-Ikhine. That's 4 guys. And then you also think about Eric Ezukama is still under contract. Taj Washington, the 7th-round pick out of USC from last year's draft. This is a group that looks like it's pretty much finalized. They have their physical, their big-bodied wide receiver in their group now with Nic Westbrook-Ikhine. I am a big fan of this move. This is why you subscribe to the channel, because we always say when the Dolphins make a move, we will have you covered, but we also have you with daily videos, news, rumors, weekly live shows. Hit that sub button. Let's get to 68K. We're under 100 subscribers away from getting to that number. Join the channel. Hit that sub button right now. Nic Westbrook-Ikhine wasn't the only signing the Miami Dolphins made in this late afternoon window. They also added a safety to this group. Ashtyn Davis, the safety who was drafted out of California, the former New York Jet, is now joining this Dolphins roster. This is a fascinating move by the Miami Dolphins because after they signed Melifonwu earlier this morning at the safety position, you would have anticipated them to go out and sign a starting high-level caliber safety. Well, we now know the approach that Chris Grier is going with the safety room. He is going strength in numbers, because you drafted Patrick Morris in the 6th round of the 2024 NFL draft out of Cal last year. And you signed Melifonwu earlier today. So you had Elijah Campbell come back as well. So you're looking at this group and you're thinking, okay, well, the Dolphins still need to add a starting level safety probably in free agency or in the draft. That's not going to be the case. Ashtyn Davis has started games in the past, not the best numbers. I'm looking at his PFF numbers here. Never really played more than 745 snaps in a season. His past numbers aren't great in the first 2 years of his career. QB rating of 139.6 in year 1, 120.6 year 2. Hasn't been the best player. I'm not going to come up here and act like Ashtyn Davis is some stud safety, because that is just simply not the case whatsoever. He is not that good of a ball player, unfortunately. But this is clearly what the Dolphins are doing in terms of their safety room. They are going strength in numbers. Now they have Davis, they have Melifonwu, they have McMorris, they have Elijah Campbell. That is a lot of players that they have in their room right now. I think what the plan will be is that they are done at the safety room in free agency. Do I agree with it? No, I would have rather had them go out and get a Julian or Justin Blackmon, a Justin Reed, a Andre Sisco, a Jeremy Chin. I would have preferred that, but that's not what they did. So we're going to have to reassess what they're doing here, and it's clear that they are going to go to the draft and take one in the first 3 rounds. They add a rookie to this room of Melifonwu, Davis, McMorris, and Campbell. That's kind of where things are heading here, in my opinion, with the safety room. I don't love it, but that is what Chris Grier and this front office is thinking, at least with the back end of this roster. All right, grade the two signings. We heard and saw who they are, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine and Ashtyn Davis. Lump them together here. Grade the two signings as a whole, A, B, C, D, or F. I got to be honest, I'm probably going B-. I like Westbrook-Ikhine. I'd give that signing a B+. I'm very excited about that. But when you think about Ashtyn Davis, that one, not the most ideal in terms of adding him to this group. All right, we're going to continue to break down the players that the Dolphins are signing here. I like what Nick Westbrook-Ikhine brings to the table. That 6'2" frame is exciting. We've talked about players that are fitting Miami system. Westbrook-Ikhine is willing to run block as well, which makes me excited about his addition. We've talked about some drafted wide receivers that could be coming out in this draft. Pat Bryant, Torrey Horton, Nick Nash. We now probably will not talk as much wide receivers in the draft, but Westbrook-Ikhine is definitely my favorite signing player out of these two. I'm quickly looking to see if we have any details on Ashtyn Davis's contract. I would assume it's only about 1-year deal. I don't see anything right now. I only see the Westbrook-Ikhine number. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have anything on Davis. But two safeties being added is interesting with Davis and Melifonwu. Obviously losing Javon Holland, replacing Jordan Poyer, and then you have to look towards the draft. Nick Amenwari, Javon Holland's gone. Nick Amenwari, Malachi Starks, Jahdae Barron. Those are the players that we're going to talk quite a bit about over the next couple of months. But we're going to recap everything Miami has done in free agency here in just a second. But we are sponsored by Mando, the number one whole body deodorant out there. The only one I trust to keep me smelling right. And with springtime here, it's cleaning. And I'm excited for this kind of year. Mando's whole body deodorant gives me confidence when I leave the house. Mando is safe to use anywhere on your body. It's created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO is being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash, deodorant wipes, plus free shipping. I have my favorite product from Mando in studio with me right now, that being the deodorant wipes. I am someone who is always traveling, someone always on the go, and if I ever feel like I need a quick freshen up or in between running errands and activities like golfing, playing basketball, going grocery shopping, or meeting out with friends, the deodorant wipes make sure I'm smelling good and I am not smelling bad, because you never want to be that dirty smelling person in the room. And as a special offer for listeners, new customers can get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code CHAT. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack when you use code CHAT at shopmando.com. SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. I want to recap everything Miami's done in free agency thus far, because they have actually been quite busy now. It started with Matt Dickerson, the defensive lineman, who was a practice squad player last year, being re-signed. Zach Wilson is added as that QB2 behind Tua Tagovailoa. Intriguing player, high upside, youthful, former second overall pick out of BYU. Someone that I think Mike McDaniel can really work with and help get the best out of Wilson. $6 million deal, up to $10 million incentives, big arm. I like Zach Wilson as the backup quarterback in Miami next season. And then the couple of offensive line additions that have made a lot of people happy. Larry Borom, probably not. Kendall Lamb replacement, swing tackle, someone that could also play inside as an offensive guard if need be, but I would not pencil him in as a starter whatsoever. James Daniels is a starting player. He will likely play right guard between Austin Jackson and Aaron Brewer, one of the highest graded run blocking players last season before he tore his Achilles. Fits the zone run blocking scheme of Miami very, very well. Only a $4 million cap hit in 2025. $8 million per season over 3 seasons. I really like the addition of James Daniels, my favorite addition thus far. I'll probably put Nick Westbrook-Ikhine as my second favorite addition for the Miami Dolphins at this point in free agency. There's still a long way to go, but that value of 2 years, $6.5 million for a 6'2", 210-pound wide receiver on the outside makes me very bullish. We've talked at depth about him. But when you add Ifeatu Melifonwu, that's a good player as well, someone who has been talented. He is a good football player, does nothing exceptionally well, but is a good guy. He has been able to create turnovers in the past. If he can stay healthy, been dealing with ankle injuries, Melifonwu could be a sneaky good signing for Miami. You also brought back Elijah Campbell. You brought back Quentin Bell, who's likely going to be your fifth edge, maybe your sixth, on a one-year, $1.5 million deal. Campbell back as well, special teams ace, good special teams player, $1.9 million. And then you add, obviously, Ashtyn Davis. So Miami has added 9 players in free agency, but when you take away the practice squad Matt Dickerson guy, it's really been 8 signings, 2 re-signings, and Quinn Bell and Elijah Campbell, 6 new players joining this roster. Safety room, certainly fascinating when you think about it. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but when you have a safety room of Ashtyn Davis, Melifonwu, Patrick Morris, and Elijah Campbell, certainly something. I expect Miami to add a 5th player to that group, likely in the draft. Don't know how I feel about it, but if Anthony Weaver identifies as Melifonwu and Davis as players that might be able to help this roster, then who am I to say anything against that? But this wide receiver room makes me excited now with Westbrook-Ikhine joining the squad. Like I mentioned, his physicality, his size on the outside in the red zone is going to prove dividends. I'm very excited for that. And the contract is so good. This is instant reaction, quick initial thoughts. We'll have more in-depth analysis of these players as we get more and more to the offseason, how they will fit on this roster, but wanted to quickly make a video for all of you guys, which is why you subscribe. And make sure you follow me over on Twitter, by the way, as well. At Nic_Rohloff is my handle. You would have known about these 2 signings before we made this YouTube video over on my Twitter because I broke the news over there. Then we came over to make a video. So that's why you subscribe. That's why you follow me on Twitter, at Nic_Rohloff.